I want to tell you about a build I was brought in to consult on about 2 years ago. Family had already spent $340,000. They had a slab, a steel shell, and a builder who had stopped returning calls. No insulation in. No rough-in done. No permits finalized. $340,000. And the reason they were there wasn't one catastrophic decision. It was 10 smaller ones. Each one seemed reasonable at the time. Each one cost them somewhere between $8,000 and $60,000. And together, they turned a dream into a crisis. Every single one of those mistakes is on this list. Pay attention. If you're planning a build and you want the real information that protects your money before you spend it, subscribe to Barndominium Haven right now. Hit the bell. This is the content I wish someone had made for the family I just described. Stay till mistake 10, because it's the one that catches the most people at the very beginning of the process. Before they've even broken ground. Let's get into it. This one costs people anywhere from their entire land purchase to years of legal fees. And it happens constantly. Someone finds a piece of land they love. The price is right. The location is right. The views are right. They buy it. And then they call their county planning office and find out that a steel frame metal building isn't permitted as a primary residential structure on that parcel. Or the setback requirements mean the building they planned doesn't fit. Or the lot is in a flood zone that requires elevated construction that adds $40,000 to the foundation. Or, and this one really hurts people. The parcel is zoned agricultural and a residential building requires a variance that takes 18 months and isn't guaranteed. The fix is a phone call. Literally one phone call to your county planning and zoning office. Before you make an offer. Asking specifically, can I build a steel frame barndominium as a primary residence on this parcel? One phone call. Costs nothing. Skipping it can cost you everything you paid for the land. I'm going to be blunt here. If your builder is not working from a stamped structural engineering package, you are building an unengineered building. And an unengineered barndominium is not just a code problem. It's a safety problem. The anchor bolt placement where your steel columns connect to your foundation. The connection details at every junction condition. The lateral force resisting system that keeps your building standing in high wind events. These require calculations. Real calculations. From a licensed structural engineer. Stamped for your specific jurisdiction. I've seen builds where the anchor bolts were placed wrong because the contractor figured it out on site. Correcting wrong anchor bolt placement after the slab is poured means breaking out concrete. That's a $15,000 to $40,000 mistake depending on severity. The engineering package costs $2,500 to $7,000. Pay for it. Every single time. This one doesn't hit you on move-in day. It hits you on month 2 of your first summer. When the HVAC system runs continuously and the interior temperature still climbs to 84 degrees on a 100-degree day. And your energy bill is $380 for the month. And you call the builder and he says, well, metal buildings just run hot in summer. No, they don't. Not properly insulated ones. Here's the standard that actually works in a hot climate. 3 inches minimum of closed cell spray foam on the walls. 4 inches on the roof deck. Not open cell foam. Not fiberglass bats. Not a radiant barrier alone. Closed cell spray foam, applied correctly, at the right thickness, is the thermal envelope that makes a barndominium genuinely comfortable. The cost difference between 2 inches of spray foam and 3 inches on a 1,500 square foot building is approximately $2,500 to $4,000. The cost of living with the wrong spec. In energy bills, in comfort, in the eventual re-insulation if it gets bad enough. Is multiples of that. Every year. For the life of the building. Don't negotiate this line item. This is the most expensive mistake on the entire list. And I've seen it cost people anywhere from $30,000 to the entire build. The barndominium market is booming. And booming markets attract two kinds of contractors. Experienced ones who have been doing this for years and know exactly what they're doing. And opportunistic ones who saw demand, learned the vocabulary, and started taking deposits on projects they don't have the specific experience to build. There's no national barndominium contractor certification. No licensing body that vets this specifically. So the responsibility of separating the first kind from the second kind falls entirely on you. Here's what I tell every client I work with. Visit a completed build. Not photos. An actual building you can walk through. Talk to the homeowner directly. Not a reference the builder selected. Ask to speak with a past client without the builder present. Ask specifically, did they come in on budget? On schedule? What would you do differently? Check the contractor's license with your state licensing board. Verify general liability insurance and workers' comp, get the certificates, don't take their word for it. And ask how many barndominiums they've completed, not how long they've been in construction generally. A general contractor with 20 years of experience and 0 barndominium builds is not the right person for your project. This research takes time. It takes longer than you want it to. Do it anyway. Here's the sequence that ruins builds. Step 1, buy land. Step 2, pick a builder. Step 3, design a floor plan. Step 4, fall in love with it. Step 5, go to the bank. Step 6, discover conventional financing isn't available for barndominiums. Step 7, spend 3 months finding a portfolio lender while your builder's schedule moves on and your quoted price may no longer hold. Financing for barndominiums in 2026 is more available than it was. USDA rural development loans, portfolio lenders, construction to permanent products. But it's not automatic. It takes longer than conventional financing. It sometimes requires larger down payments. And some lenders who initially say yes say something different when they see the building specs. The fix. Financing is the first conversation. Before the land. Before the builder. Before the floor plan. Know exactly how you're paying for this building before you fall in love with what you're building. This is the line item that blindsides more rural builders than almost anything else. You found beautiful land. Remote. Private. Quiet. The nearest power line is half a mile away. The utility company charges per foot to extend service. At $10 to $20 per foot. Half a mile of extension. That's $26,000 to $52,000 in electrical extension costs alone. Before you've bought a single steel panel. Same story for water. If municipal water isn't available, a drilled well runs $8,500 to $15,000 depending on depth. And propane. If natural gas isn't available, a propane tank installation runs $1,500 to $4,500, plus ongoing fuel costs that most people don't factor into their monthly operating budget. The fix. Before you close on land, call the utility company and ask specifically what it costs to extend service to the building site. Get it in writing. Then add it to your budget. Not as an afterthought. As a real line item. I'm going to say the number that I say to every client before a build starts. 15%. Minimum. On top of every other line item in your budget. Not 10. Not a little extra. 15%. Here's why. Construction is not a fixed price activity. Soil conditions change when you break ground. Material costs shift between quote and delivery. A subcontractor goes out of business mid-project. A change order comes in because something in the design doesn't work the way it was drawn. An inspection fails and requires correction. None of these things are catastrophic individually. But without a contingency buffer, any one of them stops the build. And a stopped build is a more expensive build. Because standing equipment, idle crew time, and schedule disruption cost money every single day the build is paused. On a $250,000 build, 15% contingency is $37,500. That number sounds large when the build is going well. It sounds small the day you need it. I'm going to be real with you about this one because I know it's tempting. The build has started. The foundation is in. The steel is going up. And you're walking the site and you think, what if the bedroom was on the other side? What if we moved the kitchen to the rear? What if we added a window here? These feel like small thoughts. In a building that's already under construction. They're not small thoughts. Moving a wall that's already framed, or planned to be framed, requires new drawings, potentially new permits, reordered materials, and contractor time to undo and redo work. A small, mid-build floor plan change routinely costs $8,000 to $25,000 depending on where it is in the construction sequence. The more complete the build, the more expensive the change. The fix. Spend as much time as you need to on the floor plan before construction starts. Walk through it mentally. Every day. 4 weeks. Ask yourself every question you might ask mid-build. Lock the floor plan. Sign off on it. And then commit to it. The time you spend on design before construction is the cheapest time you will ever spend on your build. Most people pick a spot on their land and say, build it here. Based on the view. Based on where the driveway will be. Based on gut feeling. And some of those decisions are fine. But some of them produce buildings with drainage problems. Because nobody checked where water flows across the property after heavy rain. Or buildings with septic systems that can't be installed where they were planned. Because nobody tested the soil percolation rate first. And the alternate location costs $15,000 more. Or buildings with west-facing primary glazing that turns the living room into an oven every afternoon because nobody thought about solar orientation. A proper site analysis. Topographic survey, soil perk test, solar orientation study. Costs approximately $2,000 to $5,000 depending on what's included. And it answers, before anything is built, exactly where the building should sit, which direction it should face, and what the land will do with water. That $2,000 to $5,000 can save you $20,000 to $80,000 in drainage corrections, septic redesigns, and energy cost from bad solar orientation. I saved this one for last because it's the one that sets people up for every other mistake on this list. It happens at the very beginning. Someone finds a Barndominium kit. A 40 by 60 steel building package. Quoted at $28,000. And they think, I can build a Barndominium for $28,000. They can't. The kit price covers the steel. The panels. The hardware. The erection drawings. It does not cover erection labor. Foundation. Insulation. Plumbing rough-in. Electrical rough-in. HVAC system. Septic system. Water well. Windows and doors beyond basic openings. Interior finishes of any kind. Permits and engineering. Site work. Utility extension. The fully finished build cost of a 2,400 square foot Barndominium. In a mid-cost market in 2026. Is $175,000 to $320,000. Not $28,000. The kit is the skeleton. The rest is the building. And the rest costs 4 to 8 times what the skeleton costs. If you plan your entire project around the kit price, you will run out of money somewhere between the foundation and the interior finish. And you will join the significant number of people who are living in an unfinished Barndominium not because they wanted to, But because they didn't know what the whole thing actually costs before they started. Here's what all 10 of these mistakes have in common. They're all front-loaded problems. Every single one of them is caused by a decision, or a missing decision, made in the first 20% of the project. The land purchase. The builder selection. The financing path. The engineering package. The budget construction. The first 20% of your build timeline is where the entire outcome is determined. Not the middle. Not the finish phase. The beginning. The families that build barndominiums and love them. Who move in on time, close to budget, and live happily in them. Almost universally spent more time on the first 20% than they thought they needed to. The families that don't. Almost universally rushed the first 20% because they were excited about the middle. Be excited. Absolutely be excited. But slow down at the beginning. That's where this is won or lost. Subscribe to Barndominium Haven. Tell me in the comments, which of these 10 did you come closest to making? Or which one do you know someone who made it? I want to hear it. And I'll see you in the next one.